Welcome to...
All right. I think recording. Gemini is taking notes. Everyone, all the AI's here. And Abby's here. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the AI Curious Human Enthusiast podcast. With me today, Aby Varma, a friend, a fabulous Atlantan, and the guy riding the wave of the AI future from the beginning, as far as I can tell, at least. Aby and I cross paths here in the marketing and technology community, and he has been and continues to be an advocate of cross-pollinating, which is so important to me. And more importantly, not just virtually, but of face-to-face events, of interactions with human beings. He's not only the CEO of Spark Novus, which is an incredible marketing and technology on the cutting edge firm here in Atlanta. I'm sure he'll share a few words about that. But he's also founded ConvergeX, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's converging all of the different communities that meet face to face in and around marketing and AI, and I'm sure a few other things that I might not even be aware of here in the Metro Atlanta community, and I think beyond. You probably got some expansion plans up your sleeve, if I know Aby. So with that, Aby, how about I'll hand the mic over to you just to make sure I didn't miss anything before we dive into the AICHE.
No, thank you, Eric. Really, such a pleasure to be here, man. And I am always so excited to talk to you, because I tell people that if you could really bottle Erich's energy and sell it, I'll be like a billionaire at this point, right? So I just love your energy. Thank you very much for having me on your podcast, and really looking forward to this conversation.
Outstanding, Aby. And can you share a little bit more? And thank you. I feed off the same. Yeah. I'll double down and say the same to you. You're my Red Bull, brother. But tell us a little bit more, can you, about ConvergeX and about Spark Novus before we dive in?
Yeah, absolutely. So a little bit about Spark Novus. We are essentially a strategy, enablement, and implementation firm when it comes to artificial intelligence in marketing. We focus on marketing, but we service marketing, sales, service departments, and organizations, mid-market and enterprise orgs. So that's what we do. And yeah, it's been kind of a phenomenal run. Prior to ConvergeX, before I get into ConvergeX, I want to tell you a little bit about the Marketing AI Pulse community. So the Marketing AI Pulse community was sort of something where we were trying to curate and find like-minded people here in Atlanta. It started off with just Atlanta, and now, we have, in the last year, we have about 1,000 members all over the world. To be honest, I was surprised. We had people from Australia and UK, because we're doing a lot of virtual programming as well, in addition to our quarterly events here in Atlanta. But that was sort of my realization, where when I put together Marketing AI Pulse, I realized that AI is going to seep through pretty much every part of marketing. And this is going to be kind of a unique opportunity for a lot of these marketing communities in Atlanta to come together and learn from each other and cross-pollinate, like you said in the beginning, right? So we have the American Marketing Association, AMA Atlanta. The TAG has a marketing society. The Technology Association, Georgia TAG, has a marketing society here in Atlanta. We have the Marketing Ops community. We have your Clay community. We have Pavilion. So all of these, we have a technical community. We have a CDP, CDA community, all servicing different parts of marketing. And it was and there's more communities who've sort of expressed interest, but we put together the idea of ConvergeX Atlanta, and you can learn more about that if you go to convergexatlanta.com to your listeners. But essentially, it allows for a collaboration for all of these communities to help cross-pollinate members, and making sure that the Atlanta marketing community are true winners, right? So a lot of times people are like, oh my gosh, that's going to be a lot. And I'm like, it is, but I can tell you that, the creative video community that goes to, Adobe events is not going to be going to the community that is talking about analytics and dashboards, because they're just very different. But it's sort of the idea of ConvergeX is a big enough tent for really all parts of marketing to come together and kind of learn from each other and cross-pollinate. And there is no membership dues. There is none of that. It's a very loose collaboration, and it's really encouraging, one community to show up at events for the other community in order to cross-pollinate, or initiatives being shared, or making sure the underlying principle of ConvergeX comes to life in ways that are only limited by your own ideas. And what is that underlying principle is better together, right? At the end of the day. So that's sort of how we came up with it. And yeah, and we're going to see more of that in 2026.
And all of those communities converge at Marketing AI Pulse, which is quarterly, I believe. We've got another one coming up on the 12th.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. So Marketing AI Pulse, again, to your listeners, marketingaipulse.com is coming up February 12th. We do it quarterly, and super excited. This one is going to be phenomenal. We have some amazing speakers from HubSpot and Jasper and Citi and Coca-Cola. More coming, but really super excited about our first event for 2026.
Love it, Aby. And I love how you leverage the deep and wide and high up to the tops of the organization's network that you've built and have built trust with, and open those relationships to the entire community. It's been amazing, the level of folks that I've been able to meet and the caliber of human beings that you attract. So thank you for all of that. If you're anywhere near Metro Atlanta, don't miss the opportunity to come to Marketing AI Pulse and join us. Mark, take off a whole day if you can. Do you have anything going on that morning? Is there a technical?
We do. We actually have, an amazing GTM session for fractional CMOs that is going to be led by Sangram Vajre, right? Like you guys all know, you've heard of, if you're in the GTM space and you have not heard of Sangram Vajre, you're living under a rock. But Sangram Vajre is sort of the co-founder and CEO of GTM Partners. You go to gtmpartners.com. But we're doing a morning session, 8:30 to 12, hands-on, where he is going to help you build a fractional practice and with a targeted annual revenue of $250,000. So if you are a fractional CMO, a fractional GTM professional, this is one you do not want to miss.
Love it. Shout out Sangram, another Atlantan, ATLian.
There you go.
And leading GTM. That's awesome, Aby. Well, hey, let's get into this AI curious thing. I know you are. and in fact, a lot of that's what rubbed off on me in the early days of this thing. So let's start with that. AI curious human enthusiast. What is that anyway? What does it mean to you, Aby?
Yeah, I mean, that is such a great question. I got the AI bug, to be honest, pre-COVID. So I'm a through and through corporate marketing guy. And, when I used to work on the corporate side, the company I used to work for is a big B2B industrial technology company listed on the Swedish NASDAQ. And we had a technical guy who was really a machine learning AI expert, but during that time, it was sort of a it was a R&D sort of initiative, because people hadn't heard of AI. I'm talking pre-COVID, right? So people hadn't heard of AI. It was more hey, this new technology and machine learning and AI. And anyway, he and me got along really well. He was a very technical guy who struggled with communicating business value of technologies, and he sort of leaned on me for that, and I coached him for that. And then he in turn coached me on machine learning and AI, and I was like, oh my gosh, my eyes opened up, and I was like, this is insane. This is going to change the landscape, and that was it. And as weird as it sounds, me saying it, I got that bug just before COVID, and I went from a 80% traveling job to being completely locked in the house, like all of us were. But then I spent all that time just digging into machine learning and AI, and got, like, really, to your point, curious, right, about this is, and this is wild. And the more I studied, in the early part of my career, I was a little developer, so I'm an inner nerd that I had to satisfy. So I was getting, just short of actually writing code, I was just getting really into the technical weeds of it. But I just thought, wow, this is going to change the face of business, not just marketing and sales, which is my background, but really going to change the face of business. So to me, that is how I got curious. But what does that mean to me is, I think one is we're at a unique point where I think your AI curiosity needs to come with humility, because I feel that there are a lot of quote unquote AI experts. And when we talk to clients and they call us experts, we say, don't call us experts. But if anybody does, just run from them. Because to me, you can't be an AI expert for something that is so new, so powerful, and so unknown, right? So to me, I think my sort of mantra is stay curious about AI, but without it distracting you from, judgment, people, and outcomes, right? Those are sort of the key three things that I want to focus on, that we don't sort of lose sight of. And there's a lot of hype out there. And I think with AI, the people who are truly curious I would advise them not to chase the hype and really invest in learning more about it and leveraging it the correct way, the responsible way, the strategic way. And that's what that means to me.
I like that, Aby. And so maybe let's dive into a couple of use cases. As you know, I like to use this word administrivia, that AI is here to get rid of the administrivia, the stuff we don't want to do that wastes our time, so that we can lean into our given gifting. And of that, you have many. But what's one piece of administrivia, or a couple of things that maybe you personally or you've been able to help clients work out of their daily routine and lean into productivity?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Erich, how much time do we have for this episode? I can rattle off like a ton of things here, but I mean, honestly, one thing which I'm going to say, which is pretty, table stakes at this point, is just, AI recording meetings. And that is phenomenal because it makes me pay attention and not be distracted and really hang on to every word, a client is saying, or somebody on the other side is saying, right? Where I'm not really worried about that, hey, is this being captured or not? Because then I can really, process, synthesize, collaborate in real time without the sort of quote unquote overhead of making notes and that sort of thing, right? Like, yeah, and
you can be present.
Yeah, exactly. And no judgment for people who make notes, because I still know a lot of people who love to make notes, handwritten, typed up, whatever. But in my process, I feel that, I am 100% there. So that's a big one. The second one, which I know is everybody's favorite, is expense reports, right? So we do client expense reports. So take pictures of all these things, put it in. We had a custom GPT, put it in there, and boom, it sort of spits out a formatted expense report in the format of the client, I might add. So it's easy for us to kind of do that. So we have a custom GPT and a Zapier Zap for that. And speaking of that, we have about 200 custom GPTs, from research to formatting to grammar checks and all of those things that, and more, and many more that we use day to day. And then, we are a Zapier partner, but even for our own use, we use, I don't know, we have like 50, 75 Zaps that we use for just data orchestration, which I know is a topic near and dear to your heart.
Yes.
Data. Yeah, exactly. I know, right? So we when we do, like I was telling you, the note takers take calls, and we take that, we'll take the transcript. We won't take it. It happens automatically. The transcript goes into via a Zap, goes into Slack, and Slack will spit it out and Slack back a message to me and saying, here are the takeaways, allows for me to validate that. And I'll go back and forth with Slack. And once I'm good to go, I'll give it the command in conversational mode. And that sort of converts it into actionable line items on our project management system, which is monday.com. So the whole sort of, that to me, again, is huge, because meeting ends, and from the time the meeting ends to the time it shows up on monday.com is sort of, like an hour. Wow.
Wow.
So it's pretty incredible. So a lot of what we are able to accomplish now, I can't think of it what it would be pre-AI. I mean, you would really need kind of a full-time administrative assistant, or somebody coordinated that person to sort of help us with all those things, which is not the case right now. So we have our little AI minions and AI buddies helping us out here.
Yeah. Well, I think you've coined a new term here, which would be an administrivia arsenal. That is
There you go.
quite a treasure trove. Now, is that something you primarily use internally, or is that same treasure trove, what did I just call it? Administrivia arsenal, something that you offer to your clients?
So it started off with us using it internally, because we wanted to make our life easier, and we're not a very big organization. So what's the best way to sort of do that? But there are definitely elements like we offer. Again, we're a Zapier partner, so we build workflows and orchestrations for our clients. We also build custom GPTs for our clients. So certainly a lot of that learning that we've accumulated, over the last 3 years as a result of doing some of this work, that we certainly extend that out to our customers, and if anything has enriched that process. And I might add vice versa. So things that we do for our customers that we don't do, we're like, ooh, that's such a cool thing. Why don't we just do that and do it for ourselves as well?
That's great. That's great. You're really building a heck of a portfolio. So speaking of give and gifting, what has getting rid of some of this administrivia, what have you found that you've had more time to do in your life, and what do you feel like you were made to do, Aby? I've got my opinions. I think I've shared them pretty vocally.
Yeah, that's such a great question, Eric. I think from my standpoint, I am a people person, and my background, I'm almost blessed to have this sort of varied background, which some of it was planned and some of it was not, like all of us, everybody's lives, some of that you plan and other things happen to you, which is what you call, your life. But
Yes.
in the very early part of yeah, there you go. Right. A very early part of my career, I was in sales. Right. And I feel like that is the best thing ever. Like there should be a sales draft for marketing people, or really all functions, to be honest, where 1 year, 2 years in sales will just have you appreciate that business so much more in terms of what does that really mean for people to resonate with your business. So I was in sales for, I want to say 4 or 5 years in the early part of my career. Then, I had a marketing team, but, realized that marketing was my first love and went into marketing, and then got into digital. And this was sort of accidental because I love going deep. And like I told you about my inner nerd, I gotten so deep that I just turned into a web developer. So I did web development work for like 6 years, which was, amazing. And just the feeling of creating things with your hands and that sort of thing was just phenomenal. But then with digital marketing, as I started moving up the ranks, I started, getting away from coding, but then went back into my first love, marketing. So I felt like sales, marketing, and dev gave me that sort of unique perspective. And to answer your question, that has enabled me. I think you said give and gifting is, I feel that I am able to draw clarity from complexity, right? That is the way I think about it. And I feel that my kind of life journey of sales and technology and marketing really enables me to do that, because I have appreciation for all 3 sides of the equation, right?
Love it. You might say you have your finger on the marketing AI pulse, Aby.
I do.
Yeah, I love it. It's such a perfect name for your group and event. So okay, how about your recipe for the human AI sandwich? You and I have had this conversation, but actually, you were one of the first people I really talked to about this concept. That I love human in the loop, but without kind of being the bread, the human being having the original concept, and then having that human touch before it goes out. And this is kind of my little soapbox of there needs to be more of that. There's a lot of the spraying and praying. It's SPRAING, right? And if we just shoot out AI outputs without that human interaction, we're kind of missing the boat. Is that something, and I know the answer to this, but I'd love for you to share with the listeners, like kind of what's your philosophy in that space on the continuum of, yeah, human in the loop, or there's a specific model that really works and is effective when AI is involved?
I mean, what can I say? Sandwich all the way, baby. Right? Like, to me, I think I have to thank you for that, because I didn't even realize that, Eric. Like, your human in the sandwich comment has sort of seeped into my brain, because I find myself quoting that all the time, right? I'll say that on podcasts or blogs or client pitches or whatever, where I'll talk about, oh yeah, the human AI sandwich. And it resonates really well with people who have been doing a lot of open sandwiches, I might add. So this is
open face.
Yes, open face sandwiches. So I'm like, there's no human in the loop on one side. So to me, I love your, we need 2 slices of bread. The human beings need to be on both sides of it. So to me, that is something that I just genuinely believe in, and that is just the right way to do it. You have to direct. The human is the protagonist of the storyline, right? Yeah. The humans have to direct AI on what to do, and people often combat that, saying, "Oh, with agents, that's not going to be the case." So I'm like, yes, it will be. Sure, it may not be a human trigger per se, but humans are still defining the goal and the guardrails. Right. So unless we have like Terminator and whatever the organization was called in that movie, and blanking on the name, but unless that happens, I think humans are very much in control, and you want to make sure that you were directing AI strategically and responsibly, and you are validating what is coming out on the other side, which is your sort of second slice of the sandwich. So no more open sandwiches, please, for your listeners. So
I love it.
I'm a genuine believer in that. Yeah.
You took it up a notch. I love there's too many open face sandwiches laying around. That's a good one, Aby. Of course you took it up a notch. It's great. How about an AI aha or 3? I mean, you've been doing this for a minute, right? But I can't imagine you're not still surprised semi-daily with the rate of technology change and just what some of these creative human beings are coming up with out there. Can you share a couple moments maybe that surprised you, either delightfully, by the way, or disastrously?
Yeah, absolutely. So on the delightful side of the house, I'd say that I am just blown away with whatever piece of AI technology you may play with. It could be ChatGPT, or it could be some really advanced piece of technology, and the productivity gains where it can really compress like hours and weeks and months of work into a strong starting point. And if you notice, I said starting point because we do need the human AI sandwich, right? So intentional choice of words there. But to me, that is just phenomenal, right? That power, like a magic wand from Harry Potter, right? Like where you suddenly wave it and it can do all these things for you. And that is not, at this point, productivity gains are sort of table stakes, and people kind of disregard it, or not disregard it, but don't appreciate it as much. But that to me is just phenomenal. And I just see that starting point, 2 things are happening. Things are getting faster, or that starting point is getting better, or both, right? And so to me, that is like, wow, this is phenomenal. This is so amazing. And, I'll give you a real life example of some client work that we're doing without naming the client, where we've taken, transcripts from sales calls over the last 18 months, right? It's a pretty common use case, but to see it live in action is phenomenal. You take those transcripts of 18 months, and then we've done so many things out of it. We've obviously revamped their content marketing strategy completely, and we've developed a sales coaching GPT for their new salespeople who are coming on there. We've we've created a little knowledge base for standard responses that a salesperson can query, right? Like in saying that, okay, based on 18 months of data, this is the standard 10, 15 objections that people have. How do you handle that? Or these are the type of questions. So almost create a little knowledge repository for the right way for salespeople to do that. And, so that to me, it would be impossible, without AI. It would just be a lot of work. So here's a live example. You can compress all that work into really, a solid starting point. Again, it's the salespeople doing it, and they still need human judgment, and we train them on it and that sort of thing to do that. So that's on the positive side of the house. On the negative side of the house, what I am struck by, which is how confidently AI can deliver flawed answers. Like that blows my mind, right? Like I'm like,
and not back down.
No, exactly. I'm like, it's like it reinforces the need for like human review and the fact that human review is not optional. But it really, like, I am blown away. I'm like, wow, that was so much confidence with the BS that AI just gave you, right? It reminds me of my 17-year-old sometimes. I'm like, wow, this is a lot of BS without you knowing what you're talking about, right? So I love him. But, it's one of these things where, that confidence is scary. And which is why I sort of advise people, right? Like we work with CMOs and chief revenue officers and that sort of thing. And they're like, hey, why should we hire SparkNovus to do some work? And, I always tell them that if you want to go to one of those, Instagram, TikTok people who are talking about like 10 ways that this tool is going to change your mind. Absolutely. They are masters of that tools. Absolutely. But what they don't know is the discipline of marketing. So in similar fashion, because AI is so confident in the replies that it's giving you, which is not validated by the human subject matter expert, that is dangerous, right? Like you don't want, you don't want a situation where you're like, hey, I am feeling like this, and what pill should I take? I'm like, whoa, yes, AI is going to give you that, but you don't know if AI is right or wrong, and that is a dangerous thing for you to do without really talking to a doctor, right? So,
well, and that's where we go from. Human AI sandwich is a great start, but the capability of a human to assist a company in orchestrating all those different AI sources and non-AI to come to an outcome that's informed is critical, right?
absolutely.
And there's a gifting, there's a level of expertise. There's something that you just can't AI about all of that. There's a depth of knowledge and of honestly human experience that you need an Aby. You don't need the internet guy or gal saying press hard 3 copies.
Yeah. You need an Aby for marketing. You need a Erich for GTM. You need a whoever for whatever human expertise there is. So to me, I think you need to find the right human being. And frankly, it's no different than human beings. You ask me about, medical opinion about like, hey, my head's really hurting. Well, sure, I'll give you an opinion. I'm like, hey man, look, may just have a Tylenol. You may be having a brain aneurysm, but me telling you that Tylenol is going to fix it is wrong, right? So I think that blows my mind every single time about how AI just confidently delivers flawed answers, aka hallucinations, is phenomenal to see, but also very important to recognize.
Yeah. Well, and so speaking of that, it's a great segue, especially as a marketing person, Aby. This phrase that I think is going to become more and more in the front of mind for us human beings is, are you certified? Are you truly a human being? Far beyond the little, turn the puzzle piece and do the thing. But I mean, on LinkedIn, on social media, on dating sites, a lot of these folks don't exist.
Oh yeah.
Not to mention the people that are in our inboxes. What curious as to your thoughts and maybe prescription doc, marketing doc, as to with all that noise, what do you recommend and how do you possibly help clients break through all of that to be unmistakably human?
Yes. Yes, yes, and yes. Like all of those things are so essential, and there is so much noise and AI slop and just fake stuff that is happening. And I just over the holidays I hung out with my parents, and I actually did a session with my parents because dad's 84, mom's 77, and they're
Mm,
getting all of these messages which they believe is real and they're not. I'm like, okay, no, if you see this little Sora thing on the right, it's not real. And
right.
forget that. Like if you see something which is totally wild and really out there, don't believe it. Basically, we're at a point where you can't really believe anything you see anymore, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just not it's not a thing anymore, right? Like, and so unless it's from trustworthy and authoritative sources. So I think that's sort of the crux of what that solution is. You have to be trustworthy. It doesn't mean obviously in-person interactions like the events we go to, that's real, but
Yes.
any sort of digital interactions have to come from a trustworthy source. And that trust. And this word is being sort of bastardized every day, but authenticity is sort of
Hmm.
so essential. But what does that mean?
Yeah.
There's honesty and authenticity, and those are two separate things. So to me, like, authentic is of me giving you my opinion about marketing. That's authentic because that's my background. Like me
Yeah.
giving you an opinion about, like, being a medical advice. I may be honest in my opinion, but that's not authentic because that's not who I am, right? So
Right.
so that's super essential. So trust becomes the trust of the source, whether it's an online publication or who it's coming from or which human mouth it's coming from. I'll trust your word, Eric, on all things GTM
Hmm.
over my favorite creative person, because I know that person is not a GTM person, right? So
Right.
I think that becomes really important. There's a lot of imposters out there, but those things are just not sustainable. They'll sort of you'll suss that out pretty quickly. But I think my approach is sort of twofold when it comes to staying, like you said, unmistakably human, right? So one is making sure that your judgment and decision making is anchored in responsibility, right?
Hmm.
Somebody, one of the Martech AI Martech vendors wanted me to write something, a joint blog with them, and it was all about sales enablement, which is involved in the type of stuff that we do. And of course, I have an
Of
opinion
course.
of how AI can help with that. But they sort of were trying to get my endorsement about the technology. And I'm like, sorry, I haven't used it. I don't know. You may be the best thing ever, but I haven't used it. So no, I'm not gonna, like, even, subtly imply just because we are doing a content piece together that your technology is phenomenal. Right. So
Right.
so to me, I think anchor decisions based on judgment and responsibility, so that is
Mhm.
super important. Uh, Not speed and those sort of things. And then human impact, super important. Like really assess um what's the human impact of whatever AI initiative that you were taking on, and don't only focus on output, right? Real life example, developing a content marketing strategy for one of the clients, and they're like, oh my gosh, we want a blog a day. And like, that's output. But what does your clients need? Your readers need a blog a day. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Do you really want a situation where you're bombarding your ICP with a blog a day? And if the answer to that is yes, then great. If it's going to help the human side of it, please do it. But if it's not a noise and you're going to overwhelm them and you're going to confuse them, no. So I think make sure that don't only focus on speed and output, focus on responsibility and judgment and humanity and human beings.
Yeah. Well, and if I may, where you started, Abby, is one of the places you absolutely excel. And I love how you're on a mission with ConvergeX and with Marketing AI Pulse. Getting together face to face, I think, is coming back. We went through this whole with COVID, as you mentioned earlier, getting away from the good old sales, go out and hit some golf clubs, go to dinner, go to an event together. That is unmistakably human. You're not going to send a robot to the ball game
Absolutely.
or to the golf course or just for a cup of coffee, right? And once you've made those human connections, when you shoot a video, even if it's maybe AI enhanced, you're that human being, right? Right.
Yeah.
And so the connections that in my opinion, you are one of the leaders in leading with human being and on a mission to get people together in person, which is coming back. And you're once again on the front of the wave, Aby.
Thanks, man. No, I appreciate it and I love it. I just love it. I love the community, and you know this, but our principles, we have like a value system that we've developed for the community. It's 3 pillars, and which is connect, learn, and grow. So the connect is number 1 intentionally, because that is just the foundation of humanity, and we want the community to be the forum for connection. We want technology providers to find users. We want consultants to find gigs. We want job seekers to find jobs. We want talent seekers to find people. So I think that connection is just very, very essential.
I love it. Well, thank you for creating the safe place to make that happen.
Sure.
And speaking of knowing the future, let's land there. The future, is it bright? BRAIGHT, right? Or is Skynet? I think you were alluding to earlier.
Yes,
going to take over, right? So let's frame it this way. You and I cross paths again in 3 to 4 years. We'll be crossing paths in 3 to 4 weeks, but not that future. A little bit further off.
Yes.
How do you envision humans and AI coexisting at work, at home, locally, globally?
I think we have a very good precedent when it comes to these sort of foundational technologies, which are sort of tectonic plates of humanity, if you will, right? Where it has happened in the past, right? And we've had the internet, we've had like cloud computing, we had electricity, if you go back, and that sort of stuff. And those things have just been, humanity shattering or humanity shaking in their impact. And I feel AI is no different. But look at it like this, you and me are old enough to where, I don't know about you, but I definitely remember a time without the internet, right?
Boy.
Right. So to me, I think, but now it's like, it's invisible. Electricity is invisible. We don't talk about those things, right? So I think there's going to get to be a time, maybe not in 3 years, maybe in 10 years, who knows? But I think there's going to be a time as AI maturity increases, it's just going to become invisible, and there's going to be a quote unquote new normal, which is a very cliched phrase, so pardon me for using it, but it's just going to be the way that, things just get done. Is just going to be there. And
a tool.
Exactly. The focus is, it's an enabler, and the focus is going to be back on humans, right? You want to make sure that human beings are going to orchestrate, your favorite word. There's going to be judgment, taste, trust, relationships, love. Those things are all things that is going to be uniquely human. And then AI, it's not that AI is going to go away, but it's just going to be invisible, much like the internet. Like you and me are not talking about right now. We are on a recording right now, and we're not talking about, wow, look at this cool thing, the internet. We are connecting remotely, right? Like it's or we're not talking about electricity. Like, hey, what is happening? So those, I feel AI is going to go that way, and humans are, like I said, are going to shift towards doing more human things and adding truly and adding value truly where they excel, right? So to me, that is the future, and that's the way I think about it. And I think the real advantage is going to go to not the early adopters, but the thoughtful adopters, right? That's the way I think of it.
Yeah. And they're the ones that be able to lean into their gifting, right?
Yes, I love it. I'm going to steal that term, give and gifting.
Yeah, that's thank you. And I'll tell you what, Aby, you definitely uncovered yours, and I'm so grateful for you sharing it with the world. Any final thoughts? We'll definitely, by the way, folks, so many things to link to from this conversation, especially if you're in the metro Atlanta area, but even if not, Aby's got a lot of this stuff referenceable at SparkNovus.com.
You got it.
And so we'll have links in the show notes. Aby, any final words you'd like to share of wisdom of the future, other than the future? I'll sneak this word. The future of AI plus human beings is love.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be, there could be a Skynet, but I think there's going to be a human net over and above the Skynet. So that's my takeaway.
And it'll be a tasty sandwich at that.
There you go.
Thanks so
Throw
much
it all
for
in
your
there.
time, Aby. Yeah, you got it. It's not an open face one. We got to slap that other side of bread on, folks.
For sure.
All right. Until next time, thanks everyone. Thanks, Aby, for being here. And we hope to see you in the ATL at Marketing AI Pulse on the 12th. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Eric.
Until next time, stay curious, slay administrivia, and be the bread.